episode 35 of Behind the Shield. Today we are joined by head softball coach Kaitlyn Dulac. Hello again, everybody. Scott Geis joining you for another episode of Behind the Shield. Today we get to talk to Coach about having her first season as a Spartan head coach cut short due to COVID-19. They only got 10 games in last year. And then also, what is going on this fall? How is she getting her team ready for the spring 2021 season? And how's that fall season going? So after this commercial break, head softball coach Kaitlyn Dulac.
At York College, we are proud of the fact that we have over 30 cultures and 30 countries represented among our campus community. We not only are proud of that fact, we celebrate the unique perspective and differences that each and every person on this campus brings to us. So on behalf of all of us at York College, I want you to know that you are welcomed here.
Tu eres bienvenido aquí. Vous êtes bien reçu ici. You're very welcome here.
You are welcome here.
You are welcome here.
Você está bem-vindo aqui.
You are welcome here.
You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
You're welcome here.
معكم رقية آل الشيخ من كلية يورك في بنسلفانيا. أنتم مرحب بكم هنا. We are welcome.
From day one at your College of Pennsylvania, you are welcome here.
Welcome to Behind the Shield, episode 35. We are joined today by head softball coach Kaitlyn Dulac. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Happy to do it.
So you kind of had a crazy quarantine. You know, your season gets cut short, and now you're back. How good does it feel to be back on campus and with your kids?
Oh, God, it's awesome to be back on campus and with them. We've been able to get on the field with them a little bit, and just the excitement and the energy that they've brought with them is incredible. I think one really good thing for us is good and bad, is we were in a really good place when the season got canceled last spring. So I think the girls have really spent the last 6 months itching to get back on the field and kind of pick up where they left off, and they came back excited and ready to be there.
How has practice gone to this point? You know, you got cut short, like you said. How are things going in the first week or two that you've been back on the field?
Good. You know, I think they came back at a good place. I think the energy that they left with kind of carried them into a good summer season and really motivated them during the summer. And I think, especially with the new NCAA changes, that the ability to spend some extra time with them is really going to allow us to, focus on and set a solid foundational and fundamental base for them that we can really use to kind of leverage into the spring.
How hard was it to have your season cut short, especially you guys had just really gotten started. You had a really good trip to Florida, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're just done. How difficult was that for you in your first year as a head coach, and then how hard was it for your kids?
I think it was hard. I think one of the things that was harder is I think our season in York specifically kind of called it a little sooner than some other schools around. So when we went home, there was a little bit of a feeling of, what if all these other schools still get to play? And I think as everything played out in the spring and the NCAA and all the other schools made their decisions, we kind of realized okay, this is a much bigger deal than when we got sent home. So I think there was a little bit of that when it initially happened. But it was hard to sort of see them go. I think they knew going into that last doubleheader against Lebanon Valley that it was going to be their last games, and I think that unfortunately adds a little pressure to something. But I think they did well that day, and I think they played well. But it was hard. I mean, it was hard for everybody. I will say that the single person, or the two people I feel worse for, were our seniors, but specifically Ginger. Because she was en route to she would have had career records in like 4 or 5 games. So to see the opportunity for a kid who put that much effort in and had that much success get the career records that would have been hers easily ripped from her was probably the hardest thing to see.
Now you're in year 2. You've had, a full year on the job, and is this fall been a little easier for you as you've established some culture things, you've established some other things you expect out of the team. Has it been a little bit easier this fall?
I'm not sure we can call last year a full year on the job, but 12 consecutive months. Yeah, I think a little bit. I think more for the girls, it's easier. I think whenever a new coach comes in, they have some hesitation in what she's going to be like, what's she going to do, is she going to play me, am I going to like her, is she going to like me? So I think that there was that ability to be a little more comfortable with at least knowing what you're getting yourself into, for both of us, but really for them. And just to have I think I'm most excited to have my assistants back for another year. Our staff, continues to work together and really meld in what I think is a really good way. Me and Eric are phenomenal at what they do, and I'm excited to work with them every day. And I think the girls are really starting to get how we're going to approach things in practice and sort of the rhythm that they're going to get. And, I'm looking forward to year 2.
How important is it that you have good assistants, not only in practice, but just in talking about the team and getting the team to do what you need them to do? How critical is it to have good relationships with your assistant coaches?
Oh God, I think it's incredibly important. I think first of all, they need to have strong relationships with the players. The number of things that people are scared to tell me, but that they'll be willing to tell me or Eric is incredible, and what they need to understand are what those things I need to know are. So we have to have that understanding, but also the understanding of what they're good at and what they're, for Mia, what her career goals are and what she needs to get better at. And, as a career outfielder for her, one of the things that we really want to work on this year is broadening her coaching into other aspects of the game so she can feel confident, down the line. I think one of the hardest things about having good assistants is knowing that one day they will move on. But while they're here, I hope to have the staff that I think we can have, and I'm really excited for it. I think the other thing that's happening this year for staff-wise is Ginger's actually come back, and she's going to help out with the pitchers a little bit. Her understanding of pitching is incredible. Some people are really good at pitching, but don't really understand it. Ginger was good at it and also really understands kind of the parts to it. So to have her come back and be able to work with our pitchers a little bit, and will free up Eric a little more to work with some other positions. That'll free me up a little more to be able to work with, our catchers more, or outfielders. So I think I'm really excited to see how that plays out this year.
You came in, kind of late in the year not late in the year last summer, but late last summer, you kind of got on the ground and got everything rolling. Mm-hmm. Are you happy with where you're at right now in terms of, I know you played 10 games last year, a little bit more than 10 games last year, so it's kind of hard to judge from that perspective, but is the program where you had hoped it to be at this point in time, considering all the things that have gone on?
Yeah, I think so. I think, one of my main goals for the first year was to really sort of begin to establish the relationships with the players of, a new coach is coming in and developing that trust and that understanding, and that getting to know them as people, who they are, what their families do, what they want to do with their lives, what their goals are. And I think if we can really lay a strong foundation of knowing one another as people, then that makes it much easier for me to coach them, because I think if they know that I respect them and care about them as people, then it's much easier for them to understand when I'm making a change to their swing that I'm aiming to do something that's going to help them, versus if they don't know me at all. So I think last year was good in that way. I think, we'll continue to, I think one thing that was really good about last year is we got to go to Florida, and that's always a really good bonding time for a softball team, and getting to know your teammates and your coaches, and, developing whatever jokes they have with one another and ridiculousness. It's amazing what can happen in 7 days when you're together 24 hours a day. So I think we were able to establish some of that foundation in the 10 games we were able to play.
When you're out recruiting a student athlete and you're talking to them about the program, what are you selling them on in terms of Spartan softball? What are some of the things that they can expect when they get recruited and become a Spartan student athlete?
I think first and foremost, and this goes back to the way even my parents raised me, was I am very academically focused first, and I know that's a cornerstone of Division III athletics and the athletics program here at York, and I think that's one of the reasons why I came here and want to coach at this level is it's academics first and getting you ready for the next 50 years of your life. So if you want to be, a nursing major, I'm really honest with them about it. It's going to be hard and you're going to have clinicals, but if you want to do both and you commit to both, then I'm going to figure out a way to help you make that work. In that their academics are absolutely first. Beyond that and on the field, what I'm selling right now is I'm trying very hard to, strengthen our schedule to put us against the best teams that I can so that we can develop our players into being better in those competitive games against those good teams so we can continue to move towards I'd love one day for us to be competitive on the national level, for us to be a game that when people come in to play against us, they know that they have to show up and play well because York's going to be there and they're going to bring their A game. And I know that York is a place where that can happen. If you look at, just last year alone, both of our lacrosse programs are constantly nationally competitive. Our men's basketball program made a good run for it. This is a place where you can be successful. And so I kind of sell them on, where we want to go and what we want to build and how we're going to get there.
Is that part of the reason you came? I mean, in essence, when when a school's looking for a head coach, they kind of have to recruit you too, as well as getting people interested. Were those some of the things that really stood out to you as you were kind of going through the process and deciding to become our head coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the things I tried to do research on was, how long have the coaches been there? How long have the people in that department been around? Because if everybody's 3 years or less, that's not a good sign for the department in the longevity. And if you look at, you walk down the halls, we have people who have been here for a number of years who kind of really dig their hands into a program and make it successful. And I think that speaks really loudly to the environment in the athletic department and one that I was excited to join. And I think second to that, are any of them successful? And we have a number of successful programs. And then third to that, the personal things for me, where's the softball field? Is it on campus? Am I going to have to drive to it, and how far? How far was it to my family? And could I be a ride home for the weekend if I wanted to? So I think there are a number of factors that go into it, but I think the environment of the department is an absolutely critical one that we have to. I did the research I could to find out.
What do you see the program being able to accomplish in the next 5 years? What are you hoping to be able to accomplish? Obviously, you talked about upgrading the schedule, about making us more competitive on a regional and national level. What are some of the things that you think you can do over the next 5 years?
I mean, obviously, I want to be successful. Everybody wants to win conference championships, get to NCAAs, and do the best they can. But you're not going to hear me talk about that as the end goal a lot because I think those are things you can't control. What instead I want to accomplish is, really with our recruiting, making sure we're bringing in kids that will help make us better, putting our current team against teams that will challenge us and to be better. And I think what you can do is control the situations you put yourself into and who you have on the field and the type of person you bring in and how you work so that when you get to those conference championship games, you're in a better position to win. So with the focus being on more before we get there and less the game itself. And I think some of those things to focus on are just, making sure we commit to being good every day, making sure that we build a solid foundation that if we can make the everyday plays and make them well, then we give ourselves an opportunity to make the big plays. If we can, hit all parts of the plate and cover all pitches, then that gives us the opportunity to hit, for more power. But really kind of creating that strong foundation in the next few years so that down the line we continue to improve.
So you didn't get a chance to really compete in the CAC last year, so you don't really have the ability to kind of look back at that. Looking forward, what do you expect out of the MAC from a softball program, from just a regionals program? How does that move to the MAC affect the softball program?
I think the move to the MAC will be a really good one. I think one of the things with softball and baseball almost uniquely is our ability to deal with weather. So I think having opponents a little closer will be a nice change for our kids who, with schedules that are so dependent on what's going on outside, it'll be much easier for us to sort of find and make the games. But the MAC has some strong softball programs, and I'm excited to be a part of that and begin to compete with them. And, looking back at the program's time in the CAC also had some strong programs, and we've developed some rivalries with some of those schools. So we might not be in the CAC anymore, but we're absolutely keeping, Salisbury and Christopher Newport on our schedule because those are just some established rivalries that we have. So we're taking our CIC roots and we're going to move forward with another MAC, and excited to compete with the teams on this side of the Pennsylvania border.
If you had to describe your program with just a couple words, what are the words that you hope other people look at your program and say, that's a staple of your college softball? What are some of the things, hardworking, gritty, determined? What are some of the things that you would use to describe your team and your program?
I think first and foremost, what will come to mind is respect. I think one of the pillars that we really want to have is, I want you to respect the program. I want you to respect the school, the department, but more than that, I want you to respect your coaches, your teammates, and yourselves. One of the things I'll say is that it's very easy to be a good teammate to someone who's your best friend, but it's very different and a very different life skill to be respectful and a good teammate to someone you don't like. And as they progress through college and into, their careers, they're not always going to like their coworkers. So I think if we can teach them to respect those people that they don't like and their opinions and values and be good teammates there, then that's something that will last them a lifetime. And, respecting themselves, making sure that they're not, constantly negative and giving themselves the breaks and abilities and credit that they deserve. Because one thing that I've noticed young women do is we apologize a lot. Whatever happened, it's, oh, I'm sorry. It's not something to be sorry about. It's just, okay, move on. Making sure that we kind of develop that respect for ourselves and we're not always so apologetic. The second thing I think I hope that think of is that it's a fun environment. I think one thing that we always need to remember is that we play sports because we love them. I coach sports because, softball got inside me and it's something that I loved and didn't want to get rid of. And the reason we do it is because we loved it and we enjoyed it. And if we take the joy out of what we're doing, if we don't have fun with what we're doing, then why are you doing it? So making sure that any day that we're out in that field and it's, perfect 72 and sunny and, a light breeze, that we're out there and we're not just, oh, we have to be at practice again, but like excited to be there because it's one more day we get to put on our spikes. So those would be some of the things.
I enjoyed getting to go out to practice last week and get to see your team. And, I think one thing that I would describe too is fun. You guys were loose and having a good time and really, but still working hard. I think sometimes people think that you can't work hard and have fun at the same time. And I think they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. You can work hard and have fun. So yeah. Thanks a lot for joining us, Coach. We can't wait to actually see you guys play on your field in the springtime. That will be a very happy moment when you finally get to make your home debut. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too.
You've probably heard a lot about changes on campus, about how classes will look a little different, or how the dining hall will be set up like it was last year. You may have heard we'll be living with a new normal. But the truth is, at York College of Pennsylvania, normal has never been our thing. If by normal you mean predictable, usual, commonplace, average, that's not us. Our normal is extraordinary, exceptional, remarkable. Our normal is about taking responsibility, thinking of others, and treating people with respect. Here, normal means being compassionate. It means protecting the person next to us to ensure safety and good health for all of us, because we know we're in this together. For us, wearing masks and social distancing aren't really a new normal. They're just another example of what's always been important to us. joining efforts to find real solutions to achieve our goals, to help our community thrive, and to show that we care. That's not a new normal. That's our normal, and we are grateful that you're a part of it. Welcome home, Spartans.
We want to thank Coach Dulac for joining us. Certainly great to catch up with her, and you can hear the passion in her voice for Spartan softball. And she just loves being on the field with her kids, and certainly that showed last year and showed again really this year as we got a chance to go out to practice earlier last week and really observe her in her element with her team. We'll be back later this week with another episode. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Spartans.